Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. As you guys can see here, we are looking at the brand new BP50 Bullpup Rifle here in Warzone. It's also obviously available in Vanguard as well. And this is essentially the F2000 from MW2. Of course, it dropped today as a part of the Season 5 Reloaded update. I got it unlocked. I've leveled it. I've tested this thing out. Obviously, we're breaking down the best setup for it. Actually, two best setups for it. And just discussing, is this actually a meta tier gun? So first, initially, to actually unlock this thing, you guys notice I only have it at level 51. That tells you a lot about what you need to do to actually get this thing. But in order to, or rather rank it, but in order to actually unlock the BP50 in general, you need to get 15 kills while ADSing using an ACOG scope. Now, conveniently enough, this can be done in Warzone, in Vanguard, or in Modern Warfare multiplayer. Now, in MWMP, you just need to basically use any scope. You could use a VLK sight. That's probably the go-to for most people, but that'll count just fine. You just have to get ADS kills with that. Over in Vanguard, you'd have to be using something like, say, a 3.5 times rifle scope. That's what I used personally. And I noticed that in-game, my challenge was not tracking. It was not showing, you know, 7 out of 15, 10 out of 15. But after I got my 15 kills, it just automatically unlocked with no notifications. So the tracking is definitely wonky, but you can do this, and it's a super easy challenge in multiplayer for Vanguard, multiplayer for Modern Warfare, or obviously like in Warzone, if you want to drop into you know, Plunder, for instance, it'll work just fine there as well, which is nice and convenient. So very straightforward, very easy challenge. Use a VLK sight on an MW gun, use a 3.5 times rifle scope on a Vanguard gun, 15 ADS kills, you're good to go. Now, there is a blueprint available for this. It's this blueprint here, and honestly, the setup that this comes with is pretty solid, if I do say so myself. This rifle definitely fits in the niche of close to medium range. I don't necessarily see this being a long range rifle, just how it behaves and how it feels, right? It's a very aggressive rifle, very lightweight, it feels like as well. And this base setup here is a pretty good mid-range, close-range setup that comes with this blueprint. Now, keep in mind, specifically for Warzone, if you go ahead and you buy the blueprint, you still have to do the base challenge if you want to customize any of these attachments. Now, you can see, obviously, I can take everything off here as I want, and I'm able to customize it because I unlocked the base version, but you have to do that. Otherwise, you're stuck with the basic attachments that this thing comes with. But in order to, you know, get the ideal setups here, really all you have to do is go to level 51. That's I got it maxed to here, and you basically get everything you need off of that, with a few exceptions here and there that obviously we'll discuss. But as we go through the best setups for the BP50, if you guys are new to the channel, every single day I got you covered with the latest news, updates, loadouts, tips, all that going on in COD. You'll find it right here. Feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those noties. And if you guys enjoyed this video, if it helped you out, let me know by dropping a like on it. It seriously does help grow the channel. Try and aim for 2,000 likes on this one. But let's talk the first setup here, which is a bit more close range based. As mentioned, this is really not so much of a long range rifle, so we're gonna end up going for the recoil booster here. Obviously, we're gonna show up on the map, although if we want, we can always throw on some sonic with the ammo here. We'll get to that, but recoil booster just to help out with that aggressiveness. That TTK will increase because of that and be a little bit faster. For the barrel here, for the close range setup, I'm gonna go for the first one. Now, you'll see I don't have the third barrel unlocked. This is a fire rate based barrel. You could certainly use that for a close range setup. Like, obviously fire rate's always good for that, so if you want to get that fire rate barrel, you'll need to be level 60 for it. But honestly, the strafe build on this thing I really enjoy for close range. Like, it just feels very, very fun for a rifle. So we're gonna end up going for the 538 quart barrel, which is better ADS, better strafe speed, better sprint to fire. Now, curiously enough, you'll notice this gun doesn't have any underbarrels. It is just lasers here, which actually help out there. So you got one for hip fire, you got one for sprint to fire and ADS, you got one for control. For our close range build for aggressive gameplay, you'll want to go for the last one here, which is obviously mobility based. Now, for the optic, I love these iron sights. They're super, super clean. I'll show you guys a quick little clip here of just shooting the gun in the pregame, what these iron sights look like with the basic recoil. And I mean, it is nice. These are super, super solid iron sights for close range and mid range. So you get this one pretty early on, the Circle IS. It is very solid. So personally, I'll go ahead, I'll throw that on. Optics, though, as always, are completely personal preference. So if you want a red dot, use that. If you want a 2.5, use that, whatever you're the most comfortable with. For our stock here, we don't have our final one, which is the recoil based one. However, the blueprint has the final one, so that's something you get a little bit earlier. But for close range, again, we're going to go for the skeletal in this case, because this one is all based around strafe speed yet again. You also get some initial control, which is nice, but better aim walking movement speed is primarily what we're going for there. Again, the strafe build here is just pretty solid. Now, the first ammo here is just a basic extended mag, definitely solid. The second one, though, however, is better ADS speed, better headshot damage. That one's not bad at all. The final one here is another extended 64 is the unlock for this. I don't feel like you absolutely need this because honestly, the Russian short here is pretty solid for a close range build. And I think for our mid range, the 60 works just fine as well. But we'll go for 50 for now. For our ammo upgrade, in this case, we are going to go for some Sonic that'll keep us off the map. So that we can use the recoil booster without showing the red dot. For our rear grip here, again for speed, I'm going to go for taped here for that movement speed, better weapon swap, better sprint to fire. The recoil here is so easy, you don't really have to worry about much else. Perk 1, going to go for tight grip. That does give you some control. Then perk 2, honestly, you don't get much here until later on. I think on hand and fully loaded are the last. Then I think 57 for on hand. So if you want to get the most out of perk 2, you're going to have to level this thing up a little bit more. But honestly, you can do just fine with like any of these. It is what it is. We'll throw on surplus for kill XP, but I mean, perk 2 is pretty useless in most cases. But yeah, this is the more aggressive build of the two. I don't think this is necessarily the best build, but one you can certainly use for like a very, very aggressive rifle build, because like I said, this thing feels very lightweight, almost like it's an AR SMG hybrid, honestly. So this setup, a lot more speedy, a lot more aggressive, good for rushing and being, you know, very up in the enemy's faces, fast-paced gameplay. Now, for the true best setup, I am going to go ahead and throw on the blueprint here because this does give us access to a couple of other attachments. We'll go through and take some of these off and just restart from the beginning. But here, we're going to start off with the MX silencer first and foremost. Keep in mind, this is more of like the mid-range build, if you will. Obviously, we get to stay off the map here, helps out with the range and control as well. For the barrel, in this case, we'll go for the 540 because this is better control, better velocity, just perfect for mid-range. And keep in mind, this is like sniper support. You could use this as a mid-range primary, but it's definitely not something you'd want to be using necessarily at 100+ meters. Now, for the laser, in this case, we want to go for control. So we're going to go for the AD flashlight in this case, pretty basic there. For the optic, I mean, honestly, you could still run the iron sight if you wanted to, but of course, as you get further out, that visibility will be a bit harder. I think 2.5 times is a nice, perfect medium here. Slate reflector is another good choice. Again, it just comes down to what you value the most out of an optic. So whatever you're comfortable with, run with that. I'm going to go for the 2.5 times though. For our stock here, in this case, I will go for the final one, which again, if you have the blueprint, you get this right away. If not, you're going to have to level it up a little bit more to 62, I think this was. So just keep that in mind. Now for the magazine, I'm going to go for the standard 60. You could always level this up more if you wanted to go for the 64. You absolutely go to that and, you know, throw that on. It'll work just fine. But to me, just a basic extended mag here is going to do the job exactly what you need it for. Like, you really don't have to level it up too much to get a decent mid-range. And of course, as you use this more, you'll be able to go all the way to the max magazine there. Now in this case, we're gonna go for lengthened. You do need the blueprint for this if you want to stay at level 50. This is one of those later unlocks. I think it's 56 or 58. For our rear grip here, we're gonna go for hatch, just help out with some basic control there. Perk 1, again, we are still gonna go for tight grip. Then perk 2, I'd go for fully loaded just because I have it on the blueprint. But again, as you level this up, you can get on hand or fully loaded. It'll be ideal for that. But that is truly what I'd consider to be the go-to build for the BP50. Now, is this a true meta gun? That's always the question with these, right? Admittedly, based on the damage, it does seem like it's decent, but nothing incredible. I mean, for what this is, a mid-range rifle, I still feel like the AS44 is the ultimate king of that, and this doesn't necessarily compete with that. So it's certainly a competitive rifle, but I don't think it's top tier meta. I don't think it's going to be the most game-breaking gun out there right now. So solid for sure, but nothing absolutely insane. And that being said, that'll wrap things up for this one. That is the BP50. The Liliana is coming later on in the season, so once that drops, we'll be covering that in a video as well. Stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed with those noties turned on. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.